Australia's under siege from crystal methamphetamine. Street name, Ice. Now on Ice Wars.
Welcome to Operation Iceberg. The community is asking for our help.
As ice spreads from the cities to the country.
The way Wellington is, every second house is a dealer these days. All the kids are on it, it's shocking.
Small towns are fighting back against the scourge.
I want my police station to be full of criminals. I want them locked up and off the streets.
A mother's anguish.
He has taken something like $25,000 off me. I have to take my handbag to the toilet with me. That's how bad it is.
And roadside testing yields frightening results.
We've tested 15 cars, 6 of those the drivers have had to be arrested. Strike rate of every 2.5 cars they test is a positive.
Does she know that you use ice?
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. Helen Zaremus with ABC News. Police have charged a Sydney man after seizing more than $15 million worth of methamphetamine. Catherine Gregory reports.
Last month, Joint Task Force Nemesis
In our cities, the damage done by crystal meth can remain hidden among the daily hustle and bustle.
For decades, the illicit drug that caused the most fear amongst us was heroin. Today, there's no doubt about it, it's ice. This week, the Prime Minister launched a national task force to help tackle the problem.
But in some of Australia's small communities, the ice epidemic and its devastating effects are impossible to ignore. Like many others, the central New South Wales town of Wellington has been engulfed by ice.
I've heard all sorts of nicknames about Wellington. It's been called the South Pole, it's been called Little Antarctica, it's been called the drug capital of New South Wales or Australia. Wellington has a high statistical rate of drug detections and a high amount of arrests per capita. The biggest driver of crime in Wellington is ice and its effects. It's an insidious drug.
The push to transform Wellington back into a regular country town is being led by police, community groups and social services. Leading the charge is Wellington Police Sector Supervisor Simon Madgwick.
I've been here for 4 years now. Well, I was born in Dubbo, so I've been in the whole area since 1975. When you first drive around Wellington, if you didn't know its stigma or you didn't know its reputation, you'd see an idyllic country town. Kids wandering around, looks happy and beautiful. There's 4,500 people here. We only probably deal with 50 or 60 on a regular basis. The rest are, hard-working, good, honest people.
In early 2015, the Wellington community was so frightened by the thefts, break-ins and assaults, they were one of the first to embrace the Dob-in-a-Dealer program that's rolling out across Australia. Right away, the anonymous phone-in service produced results.
Well, our information suggests it's not being cooked up as a meth lab here in Wellington. People are bringing it in, whether they go from Wellington to Dubbo and collect it, or whether they drive themselves to Sydney. There's all sorts of ways which ice can get into a town.
Wellington is normally a two-cop town. Today, Simon has brought in extra backup to act on information gathered through the Dob-in-a-Dealer hotline.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Operation Iceberg. Tonight we'll be targeting people who commit crime, people who deal drugs, and people who wreck our town by supplying ice. This town is sick to death of ice dealers in this community. This town is sick to death of crime generally, and we want to do something about it. The community is asking for our help. It's a two-part operation we're doing today. The first part is the overt, high-profile police presence. The second part, of course, is the covert. I want to see criminals get locked up. I want my police station to be full of criminals. I want them locked up and off the streets.
It sounds harsh, but Simon has his reasons.
I've heard stories myself of 11, 12-year-old kids given free samples of something harmless called ice. As a parent, I just don't want to see my kids get onto drugs of any sort. I can't stop them if they decide to. I can only give them the life skills to avoid it and explain the dangers. I don't know, it's a hard one.
While the covert teams head for the drug houses, Simon and Wellington local Matt Martin begin a mobile patrol.
Chuck a Yui.
Yeah? Why, who is it?
Matt has spotted a vehicle pulling away from the house of a dobbed-in drug dealer.
Hi ma'am, how are you going today?
I'm all right.
You've been stopped for a couple of different reasons, okay? One for a random breath test, and B, you've just left a location that's known to us for drugs. Okay.
One of the vehicle's occupants is well known to police.
What my intentions are to do is search the vehicle
31-year-old
and
Barry
search
is a recovering
yourself
ice and heroin
for
addict.
drugs, okay? Is there anything in the vehicle that I should be aware of?
Nope, dead dog on my methadone.
You're on methadone?
Yeah, take away methadone.
What my intentions are to do is search the vehicle and search yourself. Yep, just step out of the vehicle for us.
Given the fact that a person known to us leaving a drug house, a reasonable cause to suspect that they may be in possession of a prohibited drug. So we've stopped the car. We're doing a search on both occupants. We'll also search the vehicle, see if there's any drugs in there. And if there is, we'll do what we need to do.
Yep, not on the ice or anything?
No,
like
mate, no.
No,
Been
give
fucking
it
3 months at least.
3 months since you
At
had.
least, yeah.
Okay.
Staying away from all the dickheads.
But if you're still associating yourself with people who are dealing drugs, then
Yeah, I know.
you're still going to get pulled
I
up.
just come back to let them know what happened with the dog.
Yeah.
She actually lent me the money to put it down.
Barry fell into addiction after his first hit of ice as a 16-year-old.
The first time I tried it, I loved it. And yeah, I remember when I asked someone about it before I tried it, they told me it was great. Now when people ask me about it, I tell them all the bad things, you know. Now that I've had a bit of clean time, every time I think about it, I just get sick. It just controls your emotions, and if you can't get it, you think your world's going to end, you're that depressed, you just want to kill yourself. And yeah, when you have it, it takes away all that. Like, it re-energises your body and stuff.
For the first time in more than a decade, Barry has nothing to fear from a police search.
It's shocking to be pulled over in that situation, but I sort of understand now. But if I had been on drugs, I would have been all abusive and that towards the coppers, you know. Now, being off drugs, I can understand they're just doing their job, and I can see where it's coming from, you know. It's not, because the way Wellington is, every second house is a dealer these days. You just don't know these days who's selling drugs. All the kids are on it. It's shocking.
Just as Matt and Simon finish dealing with Barry, another car slows down outside the drug house. When Simon signals for him to stop, he takes off. The 2015 National Ice Task Force report warns ice is becoming more widespread because it's pleasurable, cheap, and very easy to get.
Ice is not a drug confined to those people who others would refer to as junkies. And it's also used by people who think, I won't be like that, that's not me. And they weren't that person until they got on the ice and they got hooked and they lost everything. So it's a problem across the community.
But the report also identified how unemployment, poverty, and family disadvantage can lead to drug abuse and addiction.
It does become particularly evident in rural communities. They're generally more close-knit. They're also impacted by their often remoteness, the range of services. The beauty of the rural and remote communities, though, is that real sense of community that exists within them, and their resilience is often greater than metropolitan Sydney, for example, where anonymity becomes an issue.
Wellington police officers Simon and Matt know the locals don't run from them unless they've got something to hide.
Yeah, Wellington 37, got a cop call going
pursuit, call it pursuit.
East in Maxwell Street.
Clear me left, clear me left.
Clear left.
It's going right.
Yeah, Wellington 37 in pursuit. Park Street.
And vehicle take?
Yeah, Maroon, Holden.
Who ran?
What a person going down the laneway.
Do we have a description?
Yeah, rider 157. It was male, checkered shirt. Went into the lane between Parks and Elizabeth.
Okay, so we'll take you back to Wellington Police Station. We'll have to charge you, mate. Do you want to tell me anything about who the other person was that ran off?
You know.
Senior Constable Dusty Elsom has a good idea who the driver may be, but it's not clear why he ran.
Well, at the moment, we're not really sure if the vehicle's been stolen or if it contains anything that's been unlawfully obtained or is illegal. So we're just going through just to clarify that, just to find out if there's any particular reason the person's run from the car and see if there's any offences associated with it other than the driving offences.
A search turns up a bit of cannabis and some ice pipes.
I recognised this person immediately. It turns out the person was released today from a correctional centre. He was probably headed to that drug house that we were at. I'd say he saw us and panicked, or perhaps he had drugs on him. Not very sure yet. Obviously we didn't catch him, but we'll keep trying our best. But it shows just in a very short period of time when someone's released that they can immediately reoffend.
Hello, 17 off in Sanderson.
What was 14, is it?
No, mate, got in touch with the informant. The truck was supposed to take the glider Harlow turn off to go to Moree. He missed that.
Well, I think it's probably that.
Later in the evening, the man, Taylor, is picked up by a team of officers patrolling in central Wellington.
Breathe in, calm down. Just breathe, and then you calm down. James.
He didn't have any drugs on him, not when we caught him. He may have dumped some on the way. He was only a suspended driver. There was no real reason for him to take off other than what was going on as being related to drugs. We have no doubt in our minds that he was on his way to either get drugs or had just recently purchased it. We know that he's a drug user. So for us to be able to get him back off the streets, it just proves that what we're doing is working.
As part of processing Taylor, police need to let his family know he's been arrested. Matt's a local, so he decides the best way to let Taylor's mum know is in person.
Oh, hi, Mr. Moore. Matt Martin from Wellington Police. Can we come in for a minute? We're just, just in relation to Taylor, that's all.
Yeah.
He's just been down the police station.
Okay.
He got out of jail today.
Yeah, got out today.
Did you pick him up or?
Yeah, I picked him up. Jumped in the car, no licence. Gonna get drugs, I presume. You know, what do you do? There's nothing you can do.
There is no rehabilitation program available in Wellington. The nearest is in Dubbo, nearly an hour away.
And there's not enough programs, like, you know, if I could just grab him that one time and say, OK, you're going in. But you have to wait, like you have to wait until they've got room to put you in, and it might be 2 weeks, 4 weeks. Well, you know, they've gone off and done their drugs and everything again, and they don't want to go.
Gail and her family have been trying to get Taylor off drugs for more than 10 years.
It started when he was probably around about 16. His father died just over 12 months ago, and he's just been getting worse and worse. It wouldn't surprise me if he did hit me. The more desperate he gets, the more agitated he gets. He's taken sheets of tin off my roof to get in, to break in and find out what he can get. You can't have anything. I have to take my handbag to the toilet with me. That's how bad it is. I have to sleep with my handbag in the bed.
Really?
Really.
Right.
He has, over time, taken something like $25,000 off me. It's heartbreaking. I remember once he was little, he found a $5 note outside of a pub. He made me walk. He was only little. He made me walk all the way up to the police station to hand that $5 in. You know, that's the kind of little boy he was, and he's just completely different now. He didn't have a bad upbringing. He had no trouble in his life. He was just a normal, ordinary, everyday kid, and it just breaks your heart. But there's only so much you can do. They have to want to do it themselves. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried, and I'm at the point where I just know I can't try anymore. I can't take any more of it. To the point where I'd wish you'd pick him up and I'd wish you'd keep him there. I was so surprised when he got out today. His sister and I were praying that he wouldn't get out because we knew he wasn't going to stop. I can't explain what it's done to our family. He cannot see that it's his problem. It's just everybody else's problem, but not his. He's all right. He used to work, good job. He's got nothing now, nothing. And the only thing he thinks of is, how am I going to get drugs today?
Okay, gents.
After breaking his bail conditions, Taylor is now facing another prison sentence. It's 8 o'clock on a Friday morning on the New South Wales south coast. One of the state's 5 roadside drug testing buses is rolling into Nowra Police Station. The demand from Country Police for this service is so great that Senior Constable John Lyle and his bus are booked solid months in advance.
We get a lot of success down here in Nowra, particularly for ice, which are consistent now with the rest of the state, particularly country towns. Some of these towns we visit, 1 in 3 cars we stop are going positive for methamphetamine, predominantly ice.
Country towns account for 1/3 of all drug driving arrests and 3/4 of road fatalities where drugs are present. For Constables Adam Cooper and Sarah Nicolaides, ice is a big part of their job.
That'd be right testing, eh? I'm in my 5th year in the Highway Patrol, and probably in the last 3 years it's something that has been the forefront of what we do daily.
In this part of the state, positive results from roadside drug tests more than doubled between 2013 and 2015.
A couple of the fatal accidents I've been to in the last 12 months even, it's evident that drugs have been an issue. That's the scariest bit because we all drive cars. Our friends, family, mums, dads. It's not cool.
Sarah and Adam use experience to decide who they'll test for drugs, with a little help from technology.
Just conducting random testing that today.
Yeah, no worries.
All right.
Have you had any alcohol to drink today?
No.
Just count aloud to 5 for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just conducting random drug testing as well. Do you take drugs at all?
Ice.
Ice. Need to take both the tabs from the back of your tongue to the front and just wipe it along.
The roadside swab test will give an indication if the driver has used meth or cannabis recently, even if they're no longer high on the drugs.
So the test takes about 3 minutes. But just get you both to jump out. What we're going to do is search your car in relation to drugs and that.
Do you have anything on you at all? No. No? All right, just stand over there for us.
Stand over on the side for me.
The 40-year-old driver and his partner have just dropped her 2 kids at their grandparents' house and we're heading into central Nowra.
So is all this stuff with the car yours?
Yes.
Yep. Nothing illegal?
No.
No? You sure?
Yes.
What's all the torches for?
I'm a truck driver.
Who do you drive for?
I think all of them.
Sorry?
All of them at the moment.
Basically what's happened, we've seen the vehicle, decided to pull it up for random testing. The gentleman's obviously confessed that he's used ice.
The search finds a syringe kit inside a suitcase belonging to the driver.
What's the satchels for then?
Hey?
What's the satchels for?
That way we've got everything clean.
The driver claims he injects ice to help him cope with the demands of long-haul truck driving.
Are you on parole?
No, I'm on a bond.
A bond?
Yeah, for AVO.
Okay, it's been 4 minutes now, and it's really positive for methamphetamines. So he's now under arrest, and we'll take him back to Nowra Police Station where he'll undergo a further test. You sit there, pop your seatbelt on.
In the drug testing bus, samples taken are sent to a lab for analysis to be used as evidence in court.
And if you can tilt your head down, even if you put your hands like that, I don't mind, but the saliva runs downhill, okay? So that's fine how you got it, all right? Well, that fellow, he claims when he's running on ice, he can stay awake for 2 to 3 weeks without any sleep. Blew me away. You could have a truck driver operating for 3 weeks straight without sleeping. I mean, in 4 years of doing this sort of drug testing, I wasn't aware of the potential to stay awake that long on this substance.
What I'm going to do is give you this test strip, okay? All I want you to do is place it on your tongue, drag it forward, put some saliva on there for me, then hand it back to me, please.
So you just need to wipe that from the back of your tongue to the front?
Yep, get it nice and wet, that's it.
As the operation continues, 4 out of 10 drivers tested go positive for meth or cannabis.
Come back positive for cannabis.
Your roadside test has come back positive, okay?
The machine has returned a positive result for the methamphetamine.
MET, methamphetamine positive, which in this instance would be the ice.
Any alcohol to drink today? Count allowed to 5 for me.
Sarah and Adam have pulled over 27-year-old local man, Jared.
Have you taken any drugs lately?
Yep.
Yeah, when did you have some? That's not your licence. About an hour ago?
Yep.
What drugs have you taken? Cannabis, yeah. All right, then just need to wipe those 2 tabs from the back of your tongue to the front. Yep. Won't keep you too long then.
Jared claims he's used cannabis, but has he taken ice? "1,000 kilometres up the coast from Nowra, in the Northern Rivers region, is Lismore. It's in the heartland of a long-established marijuana-infused counterculture. Now ice is taking over.
On the weekend, we had an incident at the Ballina McDonald's. A guy on ice jumped the counter, punched the young attendant in the throat, went into the kitchen, armed himself with a number of knives and started wielding them and swaying wildly. The attending police had knives thrown at them. One actually pierced right through the outside window and narrowly missed an officer's head. It just really brought home what we're dealing with here.
Detective Inspector Cameron Lindsay is shocked at how quickly ice is taking hold on his turf.
We probably first started hearing about ice 2 years ago, and then in the last 6 months we're just really starting to see the effects, and it's really biting into the community. I haven't seen a drug this destructive before.
For people on the front line like Cameron, it's the stuff of horror movies.
There's a report in the Port Stephens area of a male on ice. He smashed a bottle and he walked down the street and he stabbed himself to death in the neck until he ran out of blood and died on the side of the road. Ice is an insidious poison that is wrecking people's lives, and it's just a tragic situation that's now unfolding in rural communities. You do feel an element of compassion for the people that are completely addicted to this drug and how it's destroying their lives. I feel no compassion for the dealers. They are making money from the misery of people. Strike Force Tucker was formed about 6 months ago to target this group of dealers that we believe are the high end of the drug activity in this command.
Now Cameron and Strike Force Tucker are ready to target one of the Northern River's biggest dealers.
Today's activities is going to be a series of search warrants at a number of locations linked to our target. Our primary target is going to be arrested. He's going to be charged because of the offences that we've got him for.
The operation will also target 2 suspects thought to be working with the alleged drug dealer.
These are people certainly worth locking up, sending to jail and making our community a lot better.
More than 30 officers will carry out simultaneous search warrants at 4 Lismore properties. Careful timing is the key to catching the suspects with the evidence needed to see them locked up.
I'm pretty confident we will find drugs, cash and firearms at these locations. Look, in these circumstances, you need a bit of luck to go your way.
The team arrives to arrest the target.
Someone out the back. Someone out the back. Go to the back. Go back.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
Down to the ground, now. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Right, so you said you obviously smoked last hour. Yep.
At a roadside drug test in Nowra, Jared has admitted to smoking cannabis. But the indicator swab is revealing a lot more to Sarah.
We have to wait a 3-minute period, but we're at the minute 30 mark and you can already see that there's an indicator for methamphetamine.
Right, we returned a positive test to both meth and cannabis. So at this stage you are under arrest. So what will happen is we're going to go back from here, back to the Nowra police station where you'll conduct a secondary test. Have you had this happen before? Any issues with police before?
Speeding ticket, yeah.
Oh, so
yeah, you've got a pretty good traffic record, mate. You've only had 2 speeding tickets.
Yeah.
Just looking at it.
So you smoke it or inject it or?
Yeah, smoke it.
Smoke it. So how long ago did you start?
Christmas.
As in Christmas is gone?
Yeah.
No, right. Were your parents, are they from here or?
North Nowra, mum is, yeah.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Does she know that you use ice?
She knew I used to, yeah, around Christmas.
No.
And what did she say about it?
She's pretty upset.
So just take a seat. You can't have anything to eat, drink, smoke until you do your test.
Jared's experience with ice is typical. He's in his late 20s, and his recreational use has quickly developed into something more.
I was using it for a few months, and then I was off it for a few months, and then I had some last night. Yeah, it's addictive. A lot of people are doing it, so it's easy to get if you want, and you can't stop using it. It's terrible. Daily, I would have been using, yeah. Before I quit and started up again yesterday.
as the car crew who brought him in has been out there testing for some 6 or so hours. We've tested 15 cars, and 6 of those cars the drivers have had to be arrested. It's a strike rate of every 2.5 cars they test is a positive. Ready for the next one?
Okay, he's come through for us. We're going to take him straight up now.
Into that street there.
Yeah, can you step up there for me?
You're obliged under New South Wales law to provide a sample of your saliva. Refusal or failure to comply with this is an offence. That's it, on both sides. And across the surface of your tongue. And just under your tongue now. And close your mouth. That's it, and just tilt down. When did he say he had ice last?
He's had ice last night, and he had cannabis an hour ago.
Yep.
Hour from when we stopped him, so 10:40.
I'm just going to put this through the next screener now, okay? Sit tight. I'll get a result in about 8 minutes, okay? The second part of the device is used in this machine, and that'll give us the power if it's a positive result, and we take them off the road for 24 hours.
Jared's a contract cleaner. He needs his driver's licence to get himself from job to job.
Hey Jared, it's come up positive at this stage for methamphetamine. Yes, it definitely won't be driving for the next 24 hours.
If the lab test confirms today's result, Jared will face penalties similar to drink driving offences.
It's just a printout from the Dragon machine. THC is cannabis, it's come up negative. MET, methamphetamine, positive, okay? Just get you a sign at the bottom of each one's name. They're all just duplicates. What would be your advice to other people, young people, who are offered ice?
Yeah, been once tried. It hooks you pretty quick.
So that first taste of it?
Yeah.
And that was enough for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's so bad about the cravings that make you not want to just stop? What is it about the cravings?
It makes you anxious if you don't have it, very tired. You can't deal with anything. Some people lose their tempers, I don't, I get anxious.
So it's like a coping thing, just sort of can't cope.
For sure, yeah.
As well as getting them off the roads, police put ice users in touch with local drug counselling services.
I'd like to try and stop using it, straighten out. It's terrible. Last night was the first time I used it in months. I get pulled over. I'm wishing I hadn't now. I'll lose my licence.
Jared looks like he'd be a sensible young fella. He does cleaning, he probably works very hard, but unfortunately, like so many others, his initiative there to clean his act up will last a period of time, and it'll go back to the same old story. No doubt we'll find Jared again in this truck.
Operation Iceberg in Wellington, news of the heavy police presence has spread among the local ice-using community.
It's never this quiet up here.
It seems like the criminal element has just gone to ground. There's an eerie calm to it all. It's almost like the rats have scurried into the sewers to avoid us.
One that just waved at us.
Over there?
Yeah.
I think we spooked her. They think she's going to get raided pretty soon again.
They're not going to let anyone leave with anything. They know we're all in town now.
I'm very happy with the way it's going. I mean, a lot's gone on in a short period of time. We're locking people up, we're stopping cars, and as a result, it's almost like they've all shut up shop for the night. It shows the impact in a small town what a strong police presence can have. The impact of it is amazing. But can I tell you what makes me the happiest? To see my staff happy, to see them engaged in real police work, getting involved and locking people up, and just that camaraderie amongst themselves, knowing there's that backup available, that there's police available to go and, you know, be cops.
The town's drug dealers have shut up shop, so Dusty and Greg decide it's time for a meal break.
Which is better, Woolworths?
Yeah, definitely Woolies.
What are you doing, baby?
Going to Domino's, really. It's Friday night. It's my last shift at the block. Just treat myself.
Do you find that gluten-free makes you feel any different?
Yep, massively.
Yeah? What, do you do it by choice or because you have to?
Well, gluten-free.
Yeah.
I prefer not to feel like, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say since I've worked in Wellington, you know, I think I've been in the most foot pursuits and vehicle pursuits, you know, my whole career, so it's just crazy down there. Nearly at least once a week, you're in some type of chase.
It's hard for Matt to be detached from Wellington's drug problem.
And, like, as a local person, you know, went to school here, went to school with most of the people, a lot of the older guys that, you know, are addicted to drugs. It's very sad, and the next generation that are coming through, you know, you worry about those kids. You'd like to help them, but however, if their parents are not helping them, it's very difficult for police to step in as well. So I think other organisations need to step in when these children are young and get them on the right track if their parents have a drug and alcohol problem, to break that cycle. But, you know, the town is, yeah, it's sad.
If people want their drugs, they'll go back out there again. We've been here doing paperwork, we've had dinner, and that gives them a bit of time to get their confidence back up. We'll go and sit on a couple of known drug routes, and we know where those routes are because the community have given us information, they've told us. If we're going to get some money, tonight's the night.
Through the Dobbin & Dealer phone-in service, Wellington Police know that the most active local dealer is a woman called Kylie. And the word is, she's just returned from Sydney with drugs to sell.
Now we fish.
I get impatient when fishing.
If you're going to park in one of the side streets, probably put it down a little bit further than what you normally would for the road for you.
Yeah, mate, we're heading to...
Police don't have a warrant to search Kylie's house. Their only hope of stopping her tonight is to catch her in public carrying a trafficable quantity of drugs.
Okay, I'm holding Commodore at the front. White holding Commodore.
It's going to come across in front of us?
Yep. Yeah, we're behind that. You're down. Just about to move it.
G'day, how are you?
Just so you know, my name's Sydney Constable Williams. I'm attached to Wellington Police Station. All right. Where are you coming from?
Just picking these lot up, and I was going to pick my husband up and we're off to the green down the just.
Oh, okay.
When Greg gets a close look at the driver, he recognises her. But it's the woman beside her who's really got Ben's attention.
Where'd you pick these two up at?
At Kylie's place.
It's Kylie.
Right. Michelle, do you just want to hop out to me and I'll have a quick conversation with you outside the car? Just come stand in front of this car. Mate, we're going to search the car for drugs, all right? And it's because of where we saw you, where you're coming from, who you're with, the intel on the car. Is there anything in the car that you know about? You don't think so?
So have you got anything on you that could hurt me? No, don't. No, we're going to the pub. Going to the pub? Just turn your glove inside out for me. Push all the fingers through. Have you got anything up your shirt or in your bra or anything like that, okay? I'll get you to
Only
around.
money, only a couple of dollars.
Face this way.
Kylie keeps up her denials until the search finds a small plastic container tucked under her bra strap.
I'm going to ask you some questions about an item that was located in your back during a search here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know what these items are?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a bit of pot.
Yep.
And my personal ice.
And your personal ice?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. What do you mean
Put
by
your
ice?
hands down by your side, down by your sides. Don't move them again, okay?
What do you mean by ice?
Amphetamine.
Amphetamine?
Yeah.
All right, and how much ice is there?
A couple of grams.
A couple of grams?
Dealers are well aware that if they're caught with an amount over 3 grams, it's classed as a trafficable quantity.
And what was your intention with that ice?
That's mine.
Is there any reason there's in 5 small resealable plastic bags?
Yeah, because that's all that fit in them, yeah, like.
Right, so at the moment you're under arrest
Yeah.
for possession of an illicit substance. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
She says it's for her own personal use, but packages like this, she's on her way to the pub. Usually suggests that she's on her way to go and distribute the...
No, I'm not. I'm going, that's my personal, thank you. That's my personal, that's for me, no one else.
No problem.
That's mine.
Okay. Should we take him back to the Wellington Police Station where we'll find out exactly how much is there, and depending on the weight, it will determine what charges will be laid.
Have you got anything else on you?
No, I don't.
Let's not waste both our time.
No, that's this.
But a search of the car finds more signs of ice dealing inside a small bag belonging to Kylie.
So we got 56 $5 notes at the footwell. So we'll take the money, we'll take the scales, we'll take those 2 mobile phones. We'll return back to Wellington Police Station.
Increasing Kylie's charge from possession to trafficking will depend on exactly how much ice she's carrying.
You're under arrest for the supply of prohibited drugs. There's a video camera rolling, so I want you to understand you don't have to say or do anything. There's anything you say or do.
In Lismore, police have arrested their target after 6 months of planning.
All right.
They hope today's operation strikes a major blow at the ice supply lines into the region.
He's what we would say a major player in the drug supply within this area. Chad.
A second man is also arrested on drug charges before a search of the target's house begins.
Cameron here, mate. How you going? You guys executed down there?
As part of the operation, another search warrant has been carried out at a luxury home in the hinterland.
It shows that we're getting near the top of the food chain with this syndicate. You know, very nice rural property. I'm sure the neighbours would be absolutely shocked to know that this kind of drug activity is happening in their backyard.
Already the raids have found ice and $100,000 in cash. And there are 2 more search warrants to go. Suspected drug dealer Kylie has been taken to Wellington Station. She spots Taylor, who was arrested earlier in the evening.
Hey, darling, how you going, baby? You take these out now, they fucking hurt. Smart ass detective.
Got anything else in your pocket?
No.
Kylie claims the ice she was carrying is for her own use.
Just before you go, strip search Kylie. She's getting a bit narky with Jess, so maybe just make it a bit more smooth if you guys do it. Thanks.
The strip search uncovers more signs she could be dealing the drug.
Just found a quantity of cash that was stuck down her bra. So we've got 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, $650.
Because Kylie is Indigenous, Community Liaison Officer Zeke Shaw arrives to support her through the charge process.
Kylie, how are you, bub? You right? Are you feeling okay, though, at the moment? Yeah? What I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to be here anyways as part of the whole entire process, just to make sure that things are going okay with you. The Aboriginal people that do come in custody in Wellington Police Station, I actually do get an opportunity to sit with them and support them. It's pretty tough when you see your own mob, your own families that you've grown up with, and myself being a traditional Aboriginal person from this community of Wellington, New South Wales, and I walk in and then I see some of my cousins that are locked up. It does dishearten me really big time. ICE is the major problem in a lot of communities. The saddest part about it is it breaks the spirit of where you're trying to live and the proud place that you grew up with.
Cards, phone, digital scales, keys, mitten, blue jumper, receipts, personal papers.
Dealers often keep under 3 grams of ice on them, knowing that if they're caught with a small quantity, they'll be given a less serious penalty.
It's only our job to put you before the court What the court does is really up to them.
Usually, the maximum penalty in New South Wales for possession of under 3 grams of ice is a 2-year prison sentence.
In fairness to yourself, what I'm going to do is just going to weigh these items here in front of you and also just count the cash. Set to 0.
Hang on.
2.6 grams?
Yep.
Yep, happy with that?
Along with the packets of ice, Kylie had more than $1,000 in cash with her, as well as a set of electronic scales.
Oftentimes people who are involved in the supply of illicit drugs keep with them, not only to distribute, but also when they receive, how much drug they're getting to make sure they're not being ripped off. So.
Simon and the Operation Iceberg team of 30 police have done everything they can to take a suspected dealer off the streets of Wellington.
I'm not going to hide the fact I'm excited. We wanted to catch someone with ice. We wanted the community to give us information which was credible, to get someone with ice. You know what, we did it.
When Kylie faced a magistrate, she pleaded guilty of possession prohibited drug. She received fines of $600 and was put on a good behaviour bond with supervision and drug counselling. There was not enough evidence to charge her with drug dealing. Taylor was charged with dangerous driving and failing to stop for police. He received a 15-month jail sentence with a non-parole period of 10 months. It's only 2 years since ice use became common in the city of Lismore. Local mum Shannon has watched ice change her neighbourhood.
Ice is just unbelievable in this street. It's just taken over our lives, our young people's lives. Taken over everything. You know, they're even taking their own lives. I've seen a person look beautiful, from beautiful to like, who's that? Really? Oh my God, that's devastating to see that. You know, person with a good job, even with jobs. I feel like crying, to be honest, because there's a few things about ice that I know it has done to a few people in this street. And yeah, it's very heartbreaking, very heartbreaking.
The third search warrant to be carried out by Strikeforce Tucker this morning is at a family home in Shannon Street.
Boys, got a search warrant to search the premises. Yeah. She's in the shower, is it all right? We'll just check the rest of the house to make sure there's no threats to us, all right? There's nobody else in the house besides your wife? I need to talk. All right.
We just entered the premises and just secured it. The 2 people of interest are home at the moment. It's entry without any incidents.
The people who live here are well known to their neighbours.
They're awesome people. I've known them for as far as I could remember, a teenager. You know, always got a wave and a hello, and they do nothing but go home. Hope nothing's wrong with them. Hope they're well and safe. That's my main concern.
Shannon has no idea her neighbour is the mother of the target who was arrested earlier this morning for dealing ice.
We're alleged that one of the main players' mother is aware and involved of what's going on. I'm pretty confident that we'll find evidence to show that her level of involvement.
I'll just caution that you're not obliged to say or do anything. But anything you say or do will be recorded and may later be used in evidence. I'll just inform you that this morning your son has been arrested at his address in East Lismore. I'm also in possession of some evidence of you, i.e. at his storage shed, handling a quantity of cash. What do you want to tell me about that?
The target's mother admits to receiving a large quantity of cash from her son. She shows the officers where it's hidden. On the strength of this evidence, she's arrested for dealing in the proceeds of crime.
Today is just going clockwork, really. You know, really significant seizures, arrest without incident, no injuries to any of the police or the offenders. So at the moment, everything's panning out perfectly.
The final search warrant takes the team into a storage shed in Ballina, which is leased by this Northern Rivers drug syndicate. Storing drugs, money and weapons away from their personal residences reduces the risk of attack by rival gangs.
3 handguns were found here. One semi-automatic handgun, which obviously a very dangerous weapon. Also an amount of ice and 75,000 in cash.
Several valuable cars linked to the gang are also seized.
Just kind of shows the arrogance of these people. Rub it in the face of the community. This is definitely a significant incident. It's taken us 6 months to get here, and it's a real tiresome work by the police attached to this LAC.
At a media conference to pass on the good news, there's plenty of evidence to see.
This investigation has uncovered a large-scale drug syndicate within this area.
$100,000 worth of ice.
You can see from the
$200,000 in cash.
As a result of this operation.
Steroids, cannabis, and firearms.
Do you think these drugs were for sale and use in the local area, or were they headed elsewhere?
That's what we were alleged, that these drugs were bound for the streets of Lismore, within Tweed Byron, and also Casino and Ballina. We think by taking out this group, it will put a major dent in the availability of this drug for a period of time. I have no doubt there will be someone that will want to step into their shoes and try and make this type of money as well. But we'll target them, and I'm confident that we will continue to arrest and charge those people that are supplying this evil drug.
Wellington is a small community, vulnerable to the effects of ice. They know they can't police their way out of it. It will take a whole-of-community approach. The Dobbiner Dealer campaign is starting to make a difference here, and Zeke Shaw has picked up the ball and run with it.
All right, when you're ready, let's go.
In 2014, Indigenous leader Zeke Shaw came up with the idea of a touch footy series known as the Gunji Origin. Gunji is an Aboriginal word for police.
It gives us an opportunity to work together. Police officers alongside of Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal communities, they play together to set the front line to say, guess what, this is how we manage communities.
Ready?
All right. You know, there's a lot of talk about things that happen in Wellington that aren't so good, and I just think this is a celebration of getting together and drawing on the good in the community.
One of Australia's sporting greats, rugby league star turned boxing champ Anthony Mundine, has personal reasons for being involved in the Gunji Origin event.
My mum was born and raised here. All her family's from here. I spent a lot of time in Wellington. I used to love coming here. But now the drugs are just taking over, you know. It's just unfortunate because it's not the town I grew up knowing. It just breaks my heart. What Zeke's doing is, you know, it's inspirational to me, you know, to see a brother coming out and try to make change and do positive for the community because he cares.
In the end, it was the West Haven Maroons who took out the series.
There's cheering, there's community, there's positivity. If I can be honest, I didn't even feel like a cop today. I just felt like part of the community.
Next time, catching the dealers is a game of cat and mouse.
What are you doing? Nothing. There's messages in your phone that's saying that you're dealing drugs to pregnant ladies. Ice.
To backyard drugs, maybe battery acid.
We have ice. Violent offences are rising. Our Drug-related mental illness is rising.
Just slow down,
It all comes back to ice.
And for every dealer, there's a desperate user.
We were stealing mail from people's mailboxes and using their credit cards, stealing their identities to get more ice.
Even the best can fall into addiction.
I lost a lot of time in my life. I lost valuable time with my kids. I lost valuable time with my ex-wife.
But it's never too late to fight back.
Life couldn't be any better. Got a future to look forward to.
Rock and roll, my friend. That's awesome.
Information and advice on issues raised in this program are available from Lifeline 13 11 14, Kids Helpline 1800 55 1800, or Crime Stoppers 1800 333.